Hi everyone, this is Dear Expats podcast. My name is Polina.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm here today with Polina in the studio. It's the 7th episode of our podcast already. Basically here we receive your letters, we read it out loud and we reflect on it and as well on our experiences going through immigration. And we just try to give advice or maybe a little support. So just to remind you, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, share it with your expat friends. Also, don't forget to write us your letters. You can find our email in the description and also on our website.
We have a website.
Yeah, this is really cool. So, should we start? We have our first letter. It's a long one, but it's an interesting one. So let's get started. Hi, I'm Julia, just a person wandering the world, trying to find the best life without a real homeland to call my own. Long story short, I was born in a small village in the south of Moldova where life wasn't easy or comfortable. I grew up in a hardworking family, went to regular schools, and lived a simple life. After I finished school, everything changed. The biggest driver for me was my dream to get into the university I had always wanted, a ticket, I believed, to a better life. And it happened. I got accepted into one of the best universities in Moscow and moved there to study, with my family moving as well to start over with work. That movement was like pressing the reset button, building a new life from scratch in a huge city, coming from a small village. I was just a girl with big dreams, wide eyes, and determined to prove to everyone, especially to myself, that I could make it. It wasn't easy. Every night ended in tears. At university, nobody took me seriously. Most students came from elite schools, and to them, I was just some experiment. Nobody really expected anything from me. But I proved them all wrong. I started at the very bottom of the grade ranking and I finished in the top 3, with my thesis graded at the maximum score. I did it. I showed everyone that I'm strong and capable. I broke the stereotypes. Okay, but what's next? After my bachelor's degree, I took a few gap years and to focus on my career. But deep down, I felt like I still wasn't enough. I wanted to experience European life. I had this strong feeling that I could do more. At the same time, I was struggling with doubts. Life in Moscow was good work, money, my family nearby, a boyfriend with long-term plans. Everyone around me was saying it was time to settle down and live a normal adult life. But I felt different. I couldn't go against my beliefs. I broke up with my boyfriend, had arguments with my family, and faced a lot of emotional battles that didn't support my decision at all. More tears, again. But here I am. I made it to Florence, studying for my master's degree in finance, while still working remotely for my job in Russia. Dolce Vita, everything looked fabulous at first. I was happy. This was what I wanted. But then reality kicked in. I started getting bored in university despite sleeping only for 4 hours at night, trying to juggle full-time work and full-time studies. I was struggling with motivation. My classmates were much younger and I didn't feel like I belonged there. It wasn't the environment where I could truly shine. So what's next? Erasmus in Austria, fresh air, fresh energy, half a year in new country, new rules, new adjustment periods, new people. I challenged myself even harder. The biggest struggle? Bureaucracy. Everywhere, paperwork, but that drained my energy and tested my patience. But again, I made it through. And then back to Florence, graduation time, another huge question, what's now? Everyone expected me to get the best job ever, but the job market was a mess, especially in Italy. No opportunities even for Italians, let alone a foreigner like me. Time kept passing by. The pressure kept growing. I felt lost. And then, finally, an offer, investment banking in Budapest. Moving again? Of course. I followed my dream and now I'm in Budapest, building a new life once more. So my move so far, Moldova, Moscow, Florence, Linz, Florence, Vienna, Milan, Budapest. I felt blessed by this whole story. No regrets, just living life with a grateful heart for everything I've experienced. I hope my story inspires you to never give up, to trust your journey, and to keep going no matter what. So it's a long letter and it's actually a long list of destinations. What are your thoughts?
I think that Julia is running away from something. That's how I hear this letter. Actually, I think Budapest is a great option. A lot of banyas there, a lot of huge baths. I love Budapest because of that. I celebrated my 30th birthday there. I don't know. I think that this journey is amazing. And if Julia was my friend, I would be really proud of her. But also, I'm not sure that Budapest will be enough for her because what I'm hearing is not about her place, but about looking and looking and looking for. Maybe this cause of her childhood in a small village in Moldova. Maybe she feels something not really comfortable for her, and she thinks that change of her place would be enough to change it. It's really interesting that Julia wrote so huge letter. So it's very important for her to mention all these cities. Why? Why it's so important to prove herself and for us and for our listener that she's a good one, or for what? And I have a lot of questions of this after this letter. What do you think?
Well, I think that actually I can relate to Julia's experience a lot. Yeah, we have the same name, and it's funny that we have probably the same count of movements that we've made over the years. Yeah, I feel that this letter is both inspiring and also interesting in terms of like this idea that you mentioned, like running away from something. When I'm trying to project it on myself, I would be more interesting and I would be asking myself a question of running towards something, like what are you running to? So yeah, maybe if you have these questions and I have a similar background and feelings about my movements, you can ask me and I can try to like share what would be my answer.
So,
Yeah, I mean, actually, the one that you asked about, like, what are you running to? I think it's the most difficult.
no,
Um,
I asked what are you running from, not running to. These two different questions. Because I don't see that Julia is running for something. I've heard some objective criterias like work and that's it, but so I hear that Julia is proud of running this whole trip, this whole journey. And it's interesting for me. Why are you proud of this one?
Maybe it's about the like when you grow up in a small city or at some place where everyone's life looks very similar to each other and you kind of don't feel like you belong here or that you want that kind of life path. So you basically are running away from this feeling of having limits to yourself.
Or maybe this amount of towns for her relatives in her village is sounds amazing and make her special.
Well, yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
But after this, I heard this letter. I want to say, Julia, that she's already special and maybe she can relax a little bit. Because, I was tired to listen all this letter and I thought, oh, wow, this is her journey. And it's very important to her to mention all of that. So it makes her special. And I hearing this, I said, Julia, relax. Maybe Budapest is a great place for you and just lay down in the bathtub and then stay there if you're not at work. I don't know. I think that maybe this running, when people moved from his or her birth town, for example, maybe this running making your life special, important, and give some sense and some idea to your journey. But I'm not sure this is the right one. So I'm always thinking about the Fyodor Konyukhov and all these travelers. It's a very strange idea for me, actually. So you're walking to see some new places, okay? Like new mountains, okay, new roads, okay. You feel yourself like a philosopher. You have so many thoughts and you're so special. Okay, but what about your real life?
But don't you think that there are maybe like some people who can find like the rest of their like minds or just in general only when being in the race?
Yeah, and I think it's very hurtful for yourself. That's what I think.
Well, I think it's in general a good actually advice to stop and look around for everyone being in immigration, because it's that kind of like period in your life when you actually feel a lot of uncertainty about where you will go next. Would you have to move or would you not? And we often, I feel it at least with myself, we often fail to stop and recognize this moment we are in and like the environment. Because I mean, even if we stay in some place for half a year, it is already a long period, and it leaves some mark in our hearts. And it's, I think, another reason why Julia mentions all of them, because there are also memories connected to each of these places, and it's good to, well, maybe stop and recognize it while you are still collecting these memories, not only when you are like rewatching them.
Yes, yes, maybe. So I wish Julia will have a really long, cool, and relaxing period in Budapest. It looks like St. Petersburg. Oh, Julia is from Moldova. Okay, but still. But this is a good town to relax. But I think I didn't hear that Julia wants to relax, and I think Budapest will feel pretty boring for her. But still, let's watch her new episodes of her life and her first stops.
Yeah, Julia, keep us posted.
Okay, so moving to the next letter.
Yeah.
This is Darina from London. When I moved abroad, I thought I would miss my friends or familiar streets the most, but it turned out I missed the food. And not even some fancy delicacies, but the simplest thing: dark rye bread with a crispy crust, real kefir, and pickles that aren't sweet. One time, I even threw a little party because I found something in a local shop that vaguely resembled Borodinsky bread. I felt like I had won the lottery. Now I know for sure food is a little piece of home you always want to keep close, even when you're on the other side of the world. When someone comes to visit from home, I always ask them to bring a little care package, and dark rye bread is always on the list. Sometimes it feels like I'm not an expert, but a pastry smuggler. I have a memory with Darina. We worked together years ago, and I think it was my 6 month immigration, something like that. And Darina, we met each other in Paris. They were making a visa to come to London, and she brought me buckwheat, Russian grechka. And I thought at the time, wow, why she thought that this would be important. But now I understand what Darina talks about. It's maybe a little bit difficult because there are a lot of Russian names like Borodinsky, this is dark rye bread, and kefir. Everybody knows kefir, I think.
Yeah.
It's not only in our culture. And pickles are not sweet. I don't know. You need to try it. Do you miss some other products from your life?
I do, and I think it's, yeah, it's like it's funny because there are some types of products, like in general, for example, the cottage cheese, the particular one that you are used to, or the condensed milk or something like that, some sweets, and you can buy it in the like Eastern Europeans shops. I think in all countries in Europe or in States, maybe in other parts of the world as well. So you can actually do it. And when I moved, I caught myself on the thought that I only go to such shops like maybe several times a year. So my eating habits has changed and I adapted rather swiftly.
That's a very serious answer. I asked, what did you miss?
No, yeah, I mentioned I'm getting there. It just takes me a long time. And then I understand that what I actually miss are the kind of like specific kinds of these products that you could only buy, for example, in Moscow. So I miss, for example, in Netherlands, they call it like quarks, like the small pieces of the cottage cheese covered in chocolate, and you eat it like as a snack. And I miss those from Russia because they taste very differently, and even those that you can buy in Eastern European shops, they are not the same. Or I would maybe miss some sort of like ready-made meals or a dessert that I would buy in the grocery shop. Like there is a huge chain in Moscow, but that's only there. So I would maybe ask my parents, and when they visit, or my friends, to bring me like some specific kinds of these sweets. And I think that's another like thing that you miss. Not only like the taste of the product or like the kind of the product, but maybe like also the packaging, because it kind of transcends you to this life that you used to had and to your old habits. I have another story related to that, actually. I was visiting my friends in Barcelona lately, and I was collecting a bike from one of my friends just to go around Barcelona. And then when I was collecting it from her, she was doing something in the kitchen, and then I hear her like scream out to the corridor, "Oh, I have Russian tea, like from Yandex Lavka," which is like the delivery service in Moscow. And I was at first like so surprised. Like, I mean, you can buy tea in any supermarket. You can buy specific tea in Eastern European supermarket. But those were like these specific tea bags from this grocery delivery service. And like she made them sound so special. And then I recognized that for me, it's the same, for example, as with this sirki, this cottage cheese covered in chocolate kind of thing, from another shop that we used to have in Moscow. So yeah, I mean, I do miss products, to answer your question finally, but it's not about the taste or the kind of it, but more about specific types that you can only buy back in your home country. What about you?
I understand what you're talking about, and I asked my parents a lot. One time, my mom brought me a croissant with salmon from Coffeemania. This is kind of very Moscow cafe. It's really overpriced as everything in Moscow, and there's like kind of symbol of this, I don't know, good times in Moscow and in Russia.
How long was the trip?
It was a couple hours. It was like from Moscow to Istanbul. She bought
Okay.
it in the airport, so it was not so long. And it was so fun. I posted it in my Instagram and stories, and all my friends and all my colleagues. Oh wow, it's really from Coffee Mania. So that sounds really funny. And once we have another shop. I think you mentioned it, Vkusville.
Yeah.
But you didn't name it. This is kind of Whole Foods in Russia, but much cheaper than Californian one.
Yeah.
So, and my little, he's not little, he's over 20, but he called me, my brother, and he said, what do you want from Moscow? What can I give my parents to pass you? And I said, something from Vkusville. And she bought me hand cream, slime, some paper towels, wet towels, toothbrush. So like it was very strange combination, but I was so excited about it. I think I miss sausages. Not good, like German sausages, bad Soviet sausages.
Yeah.
It's not from meat, I think. It was a myth about the sausages that they're from towel and
Or maybe like some soy.
or towel or fat or something like this. So no protein at all. But I miss this combination of buckwheat and sausages really much. So I try not to do this really often because they're really bad. But I'm trying to buy it in mini mix in Eastern European supermarket. I think that's it. I think I'm missing some. You mentioned ready meals. I think I miss some restaurants, some cafes, maybe, because Russian restaurant culture is a really good one, actually. So I think I don't have still, maybe I can afford so many restaurants here as I could afford in Russia. That's why I'm not sure that I have a lot of my favorite restaurants here because I don't visit them often, but I used to do it in Russia. So I think I miss some things from it. But it's really interesting because, but also, I think I really miss the idea that I can go to the bookstore and buy some books. That's what I missed.
Because they're in English or because they're expensive as hell?
No, I'm thinking about the idea Russian language book. I can buy an English one. That's not a problem here. Of course, that is expensive, but still, going to work trip in Poland, and they have this Russian language bookstore, huge one. So I'm dreaming how I spent a lot of money there. Yeah, but no, I'm missing this opportunity that I don't know why, but from my childhood, I feel myself really safe in the bookstores. So, and I miss this idea that I can come into and walk and maybe buy something, maybe not, maybe buy a pen or some stupid thing. But I miss this idea that I can spend my time like this.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand.
We don't know what to say for Darina. Actually, we truly support you, Darina. This is really a big problem, and I don't know when we'll meet each other in the end of the month. Maybe I need to, I need to find something special for her from our Eastern European shop,
Or smuggle something.
or smuggle something. So that's time for the third letter. This is often, usually from us. So, Julia, can you start?
Okay, my letter today is about holidays and how your like habits and attitudes to them changes.
That's fine. It was my letter too. Okay, I'll think of another one. Start.
Okay. It's about holidays and how we change our attitudes to them. Well, the idea is that as you grow up in a certain culture, in a certain country, you are used to celebration of some sort of holidays. Some of them are universal, for example, New Year's or Christmas. Some of them are pretty local. For example, we have this Maslenitsa, which is in the beginning of the spring, or we have these long weekends in the beginning of May usually. Most of them are related to some Soviet invented kind of celebrations. And you go through them, and basically it kind of shapes how your year looks. You're looking forward to New Year's, you're looking forward to the long week of holidays after it happens. Then you have this break in May. Then, well, I have my birthday in September. So basically, those were growing up my three cornerstones of fun experiences. And then when you move, you realize that, well, people in other parts of the world, their calendar looks differently. We all have, okay, this new year, but for example, in Europe, because people there celebrate Christmas, by New Year, everyone is like tired and they throw this one more huge party and then they go to work on 2nd of January. And it's very difficult for me because, I mean, my weekends used to only get started.
I think you need to mention that we have 10 days in the start of the
Yeah.
January, because you didn't mention that's why it's so hard to go
Yeah,
for work.
exactly. Yeah, because we don't celebrate Christmas in December. It falls on 7th of January.
From 6th to 7th, yes.
From 6th to 7th, yeah. So it's not celebrated
and
as
the 5th
widely.
it's my birthday, so.
It's another huge
Yes.
celebration in Russia.
In Russia, yeah. Especially in Russia, okay.
A national holiday. So basically, yeah, you have this whole a week or 2 weeks after New Year when you can just relax and rewind. And here, like right after this huge party, you have to be at work in 2 days. I mean, you can take vacations, but doesn't feel the same because the atmosphere is not the same. Then also here in Europe, people don't celebrate nothing, I think, in May, maybe one holiday, but it's not like this long week of holidays.
No. In Netherlands, we have this 5th of May. It's kind of our victory day in Russia. On the 9th May, it's from Second World War.
Yeah, okay. So this is similar, but then nothing like that. But for example, people celebrate Easter, and there are 2 additional holidays related to that. So you have the long holiday because of that. And then there are like country specific holidays, like the King's Day in the Netherlands, when the whole country becomes orange, everyone gets, well, first very funny, then very drunk, and it's like this. And then the next day, like the whole country has this huge hangover. And it affects you because not only your working schedule, I think, changes, but I mean, I'm personally very perceptive to the energy I feel in the city. And when it's like the party energy, and I mean, I can't work really, I want to join it. And on the other hand, when everyone like is relaxed or on the work mode, I can celebrate my holidays.
It's really hard to work on Christmas, what we used to do, because we're working in company who still are using Russian and Dutch calendar, and it means I don't have Russian or even Dutch holidays because I'm working for Russian people from here, so it's really strange. I totally understand you. I think the most hard days for me is Christmas, not ours Christmas, but you see Amsterdam is pretty empty in these days because everyone come to their parents and they live not in Amsterdam. It's expensive, the most expensive city in the Netherlands. So, and I'm feeling very strange myself in these days because I see these families and they're going around and I don't feel related to this. I think this is the most day when I don't feel related to this country, actually, because I think this is one of the most important days in this family traditions, and I can't relate it and I can't share it, and it's really, really hard for me. And my aunt, she's an expert with 30 years experience. She lives in California, and she always told me that the hottest days in the year is family celebrations, not like King's Day,
Yeah.
but something about, I don't think the Easter, because I think it's more fun way celebrations
Kinda, yeah.
in Europe and in US. In Russia, it's kind of churchy. Do have this word. So, and I think the Christmas is really, really hottest day.
Yeah, I can relate to it emotionally. When I was living in Italy, I was still like working according to, I had remote work and I had been working according to Russian calendar, and it was very hard because they also have some additional Catholic holidays, and basically their holiday calendar is built around it, not around more governmental holidays, whatever. So basically it was very hard for me to work during these days just because of like every shop was closed and there was no work atmosphere at all. But now I'm mostly working according to Dutch calendar. So I think that I switched kind of my perception. I had long weekends during Easter. I'm not anticipating any holidays in May, but with Christmas, yeah, it's definitely hard just because you can't like celebrate it with your family and it's very sad.
Yeah, and it's really strange because I don't know what to do in this day, actually. My first Christmas, it was like in first few weeks of my immigration. I spent it with my sister, my cousin. She lives here with her husband. And we celebrated it with her husband's sister. So it was kind of family way. And it was sweet. But after that, 2 years, I was working on the Christmas, and it was really hard because you're waking up on 25th of December and everything is closed and you see these lights in the windows when big family is sitting on the sofa, and you open your Instagram and you see all this Christmas, everyone is in red pajamas and all this stuff. And it was funny, this year I opened for myself advent calendars when I moved from Russia. I think maybe it wasn't so popular, maybe it is popular right now, I'm not sure. But I think in Europe it's much more popular than and now you've got this. My boyfriend gifted me this super fancy Bienkorf advent calendar, so, and it really helps me with this hard December. And the last gift was on 25th of December for Christmas, and it was a mascara named Climax. And in Russian we use Climax for name of kind of menopause or something like this.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, this is Christmas. I'm 30 years old and I'm turning like 31 in 2 weeks.
You're far from climax.
We don't know, okay? And everyone holding their babies with their stupid gifts and this plastic Christmas tree. And I'm sitting alone with this Climax mascara for like a lot of euros. And I was so sad on that morning. I was so sad.
We should definitely figure something out for the next Christmas.
Yes, I hope you'll still be there. You'll still be here.
I'll have to stick around for that.
Yeah, me too, so we'll stick around. Okay, thank you for hearing us. It was the 7th episode of our Dear Expats podcast. I need to mention that we're waiting for your likes, comments, and shares. Thank you so much. Don't forget, we have our website, and we're really proud of it, so just use it somehow.
And we are waiting for your letters. Don't forget to write it. We are very eager to have it, to read it, and reflect on it. So that was it. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.